This name design uses block letters and a looping line. To start the project, you'll need a piece of drawing paper, preferably white or a light color. You'll need a pencil and an eraser. I'm going to start by drawing my first name lightly across my paper diagonally. My first name is Mary, so it only has 4 letters. So I'm going to make my letters nice and big and spread them out from one corner of the paper to the other. If you have a name that's much longer, you might have to make your letters shorter and skinnier, or you could use a shorter version of your name. For instance, if your name is Robert, you could use Bobby or Bob. If you're not happy with any of your letters, make sure you take a moment to fix what you think could be bigger, rounder, whatever it is that you'd like to make different. Next, I'm going to go around each of those letters, making them thicker and turning them into a block letter. I'm pressing fairly hard so that you can see the lines I'm drawing. You might want to draw lightly so that you can erase your lines if you make any mistakes. So that my lines that I drew to begin with don't show up too much in my finished design, I'm going to take a moment to use my eraser to erase those guidelines. Now I'm going to trace over my letters with a black crayon. If you would prefer to use a marker, you could use a black permanent marker. I would not recommend using a water-based dark colored marker. Sometimes when you lean on water-based markers, they run or bleed. And if you have a dark color, it might muddy your design. Next, I'm going to make that looping line. So I'm going to find a spot on my paper that I'd like to start, and I'm going to draw with my pencil a line that loops around itself and crosses over my name in a few places. You want your looping line to fill your paper on the outside edges. When you're happy with your line, you can go ahead and use your black crayon to trace over your line that you've looped across your name. If you missed any spaces, you can use your eraser to erase the line if you did not follow exactly. Just be careful you don't rub up against the crayon. It might smear. Alright, now you can color your name with any colors that you'd like to. I would recommend that you limit it to a few. You want to make sure that you leave some colors that are different from the ones you use for your name for your background. On this design, I used all of the warm colors, the oranges, the reds, and the yellows for my name, and I used the cool colors, the greens, the blues, and the violets for my background. If we look at a color wheel, our colors that are on the top of this color wheel, the yellow, the orange, and the red, are colors that remind us of things that are warm or hot, like the sun or a nice warm campfire. The colors that are opposite them, the green, the blue, and the violet, are the colors that are considered the cool colors. You don't have to use the warm and cool colors. Just try to make sure that you use colors that are very different from one another when they come next to one another. So I'm going to start coloring in my name. The trick is to change the color when you hit one of the lines that crosses your letter. So my M starts off pink, and when it hits this line, it is going to change to a different color. And when I hit this looping line, I need to change my color again. I could either change back to the pink, or I could change to another color. My A is only crossed by one line, so most of the letter is going to be orange. And the bottom of the letter, where the line crosses, will change to another color. And my R is going to be pink on the bottom, up to the two lines that cross it. It's going to continue to be pink up here, in between those lines. And then I'm going to go back to another color where the lines cross. And my Y, I'm going to start with the orange. When I hit that line, I'm going to change back to my yellow. And when I hit the line down there, I'm going to change back to my orange. And back to my yellow. So on this design, you can see that I limited how many colors I used. I only used pink and orange and yellow. This one I used all of the warm colors. So again, you can consider what types of colors you'd like to use and how many you'd like to put in each space. The next part is to decide whether or not you need colors in your background. I would recommend looking at how your line loops and deciding where your colors would work best. On this design, I did colors on all of the loops or bubbles. I did not do colors in the bigger looping areas. they came close to my letters. I thought it was going to make it a little too confusing, and some of them went into big open areas. So again, you can choose whatever colors you'd like to use and think about where you'd like to use them. For instance, if I colored in here, there's no line that crosses and closes this, so that would mean I would be coloring this entire background green into this section. So really look at where your lines cross and make a decision as to how much coloring you want to do. I'm going to stick with the loops. So I'm going to use some of my cool colors in those bubbles or looping enclosed shapes. I'm going to repeat my color a few times to help make sure that my picture looks balanced. And again, you do not have to use markers for your project. If you would prefer to use crayons or colored pencils, that would be fine. You could even use watercolor paints if you feel comfortable painting in those spaces. Try not to lean your hand on top of your markers. You don't want to smear your colors. Let's see, I have a loop there, but I don't think I want to do it the same color, so I think I'll put some blue there. And those are the only looped bubbles that are closed, so my design is complete. I can't wait to see what you do. Have fun with that.